and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers and I am the Scruffy Trader. Why am I Scruffy? I just am. I really am. My wife says I am, so I must be. I've even got dinner down my front because I'm a right scruff, but it just makes me me. Anyway, what's Rant with Scruffy? Well, before I tell you, please do me a favour and help me motivate myself to do more of these videos for you, because I don't get paid by Instagram and I don't sell courses or signal services, anything like that. I do this purely for enjoyment and to see if I can help somebody along the way. So the way you can help me, click the little subscribe button, smash the icon that says like, and maybe drop a comment to motivate me to do another topic. Simple as that. So what's Rant with Scruffy? Well, got my coffee with Star Wars t-shirt, because I'm an overgrown child and I like a rant. Why do I like a rant? Because I'm old. Simple as that. And being a full-time trader, I get a lot of time on my hands, because the art of trading is waiting. And when you're waiting, you have a tendency to be in a lot of forums. You get asked some ridiculous questions which sets you off on a rant. So here we are. And these rants are normally based on what's happened the week prior. The one place that normally sets these rants away is Instagram. And we're going to explore that a little bit. And today's main subject is, what is money? What does it mean? And if you're a millionaire, are you rich? Well, I'm going to have a rant about that. But this is not a normal rant where it's a case of strap yourself in, because Langers is off on one. This one's strapping myself in, because it's opened up a couple of old wounds. And you'll see these wounds as I explain a little story to you. So this one's quite an emotional one for myself. And you're sitting there with your coffee, because I've got mine. And if you watch my videos, you know Scruffy likes a coffee. What's this got to do with trading? Because this is a trading channel. Well, let me tell you, it has everything to do with trading. Because as I said earlier, trading's a waiting game. And in a waiting game, the one thing that affects you is your emotions. You get a lot of time to think. And trading is the most emotional career you'll ever have. And you will find your fear and greed and every emotion possible compressed while you're trading. And if you're a day trader like myself, you can have a trade that runs an hour, and you will have every single one of them emotions compressed into an hour. And unless you can control them, you'll fail. So I'm going to tell you a little story about money, wealth, and being rich. And why is that? Because the question that I constantly get asked, and I do get asked it all the time, mainly on Instagram, or as I like to call it, the land of make-believe. Because on Instagram, not so much in the forums, and certainly not in the Telegram group that I run. There's an address for it along the bottom, where you'll find me every day chatting with the guys, wonderful guys. And it's shared learning, that's all it is. But on Instagram, it's where the idiots hang out. And bugger me, do they hang out. You've always got the flash sod sitting there underneath his palm tree with his laptop, spouting off that he's made £100,000 this morning, shows he's photoshopped phone and takings. It's all bollocks, absolute bollocks. And if you're taken in by this, you fail. You know, because trust me, you make £100,000 in the morning, have a Lamborghini out the back. What are you selling a £15 a month signal service for? You're selling a course that's absolutely worthless for 500 quid. What you're really doing is selling a false dream, and your money is made from these subscription services. And please don't be fooled by them. What you see here and in my other videos where you'll see me live trading in the moment, real money, my money, and timestamp, and you can see exactly what the trade is, and I'll trade alongside you in the moment, and it'll either win or it'll lose. All right, got a good strike rate. I'm pretty good at what I do, but it's real. I don't do the make-believe thing, and everything you see is pretty raw. As you see with my recording, because I am no Steven Spielberg. I am getting better, and I'm buying a bit better equipment because I'm quite getting into this as a hobby. What I'm trying to do is show you that it's the real world, whereas these clowns show you that it's fantasy land. And the sad thing is, there's a lot of desperate people out there. And these people, they believe it, but they're also quite abrasive in the way that they speak to you. And the messages I get fall into two categories. I get the odd one or two that is, hi, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And you have a nice conversation. But the majority, and it's probably about 90% of the messages that come through, certainly on Instagram, make me rich. You will make me rich. Make me a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. What kind of question is that? And they're the opening statements, barking at me. And I actually don't think they know what rich is. Because rich is not money. Not in my world. And I'm going to explain that in a second. Because you see people with money and you think they're rich. They're not. They're wealthy. Big difference between rich and wealthy. If you're wealthy, you've got money in the bank. If you're rich, you've got an enriched life. That's what rich means. It's enriched. And there's a difference. You don't want the money. What you want is what money buys. And that's a rich life. So there's a difference. So moving on from these questions of make me rich, I want to sort of try and put it into some context using my own life experience. And it's a rough one for me because it was probably the darkest period of my life. Now, from the outside world, I had a perfect life. Very successful business. Drove a big car, lived in a big house, went to Jamaica for my holidays, and I have a wife that most people would die for. You know, so why aren't I happy? I used to run a very successful mail order business in a factory, and in its heyday, it used to take around £30,000 a day. Colossal amount of money. And we used to key it into a till. And one of the lads was keying it in this day. And he goes, wow, made £30,000. No, I haven't. He said, yeah, you have. I've just keyed it in. There it is there. I said, no. I said, I've taken £30,000. I haven't made £30,000. I've actually made about 300. He's like, what? No. 30,000. I've seen it. I keyed it in. I said, right, let me explain this one to you. I said, I've taken 30,000, but I've made 300. And he was trying to, and I could see the little wheels working in his head, and he just couldn't work it out. I said, right, when you take it, he was equating turnover is salary. It doesn't work like that. So there's a cost of sale, and that cost of sale is the product, the box it sits in, and posting the thing out. And the sector we work in generates a working profit of around 5 to 7%. So if I work on the 7%, the high end, this is how the maths work. So I took £30,000, packed it, shipped it. We made 7% of that £30,000 after product costs, which is 2,100. And he's like, right, okay. And you can kind of see the little wheels moving again. I said, but I've still got other costs, because this building we're in is quite big, and it costs a lot to heat and light. And then I've got to pay you your salary, and there's 10 of you lot. So this costs around £1,800 a day. So what I'm left with is 300. So, but it gets worse than that, because I ain't being paid yet. And when you're in the tea room having a sandwich, you want the table to be clean. So I've got to buy cleaning products and sundry products. And you break things all the time. Something as simple as a sweeping brush, I've still got to buy them every week. So that all comes out of this £300. So what I'm left with is not quite a lot. So it looks good on the surface, but in reality, it's quite small. So you're probably richer than I am. And he went, what? I'm not richer than you. I said, yeah, you are. He says, I might be more wealthy than you, but you're richer than I am. He goes, but you've got a great big Merc outside. I haven't got a big Merc. I said, no, but at 4:30 you go home. And you can do what you like. On a weekend, you're off. Do what you like. Go buy what you like. I know this because I pay you. I don't. I'm in here 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day to ensure this place runs and that you're paid on a Friday night. He says, okay, every 3 months or so, I'll get on an airplane and I'll have a week away, but that's because I've worked 7 days a week for 3 months and I've burnt out and I need a break. So your life is richer than what mine is. I said, and it's perception. Because when you go down the golf club, I used to hear the conversations. Oh, that big Langer's over there, you want to go and have a chat with him? He makes a fortune. Well, when the company collapsed, and bugger me, did it collapse? Because that's the thing when it gets bigger. You know, the pressures are higher, the stress level's higher, and when the bills come in, they are definitely higher. And market forces forced the business to close. And I literally lost everything I owned overnight. And then you're in the golf club and it's like, yeah, see him over there, lost everything, he's an idiot. So within 1 week, I'd gone from talk to him because he's a star to an idiot. But I was still the same person. Except this time the person was battered to a pulp and absolutely smashed to the ground to the point where I almost gave up. But you can't give up. But I almost did. But you don't have to find out who your friends are or who you think your friends are. Because in the situation when it was all falling apart for me, aside from my immediate family, there was only one person, and this lad, and he knows who he is. I don't care what he does, short of sleeping with Joanne. There isn't anything I won't do for him, and I'll look after him the rest of his life. Because what he did for me was fantastic. He's the only person who held his hand out and said, don't matter, dust me down, we'll put it right. Whereas everybody else won't return a phone call, suddenly you don't want to be known. And I'm including direct family in this as well, blood family. Because when you're riding high and you've got a few quid in the bank, it's amazing how many times your phone rings and they always want something. Trust me, they always want something. But when you've got nothing, no one cares. And when you're at a decent level, when you fall from grace, there's no help for you. You've got to do it on your own. And one of the hardest things I ever had to do was go home and sit my beautiful wife down and explain to her that I'm going to have to let the family house go, and all rental properties and investments, etc., to cover the debts of the business because I've made a mistake. Because I'm not infallible. I do make mistakes. And most people, when they look at this and they look at Joanne, they wonder what on earth is she doing with him? Because we are so poles apart, it's unbelievable. I'm as gruff and rough as it gets, and Joanne is incredibly pretty and elegant. But what most people don't know is, when we met, I had nothing. And we built everything up together. And yeah, there was a few tears. Maybe it's 1 or 2 bottles of wine that we shouldn't have had. But she looked me in the eye And she asked me one question. Do you love me? And I do. With every fibre that's in me, I love her. And that's all she needs. And it's all I need. You know? And that's what makes you rich. And it's in that moment I realised what rich was. I lived a life where I could buy anything I wanted. You know, it's a lovely feeling. It is. But to do it while you're sad and upset, not so much. Think about it. How many times do you read the paper and you see a very, very successful person commit suicide? In fact, the greatest trader of all time, Jesse Livermore, the great plunger, this man rubbed shoulders with the Rockefellers. You know, he had more money than most people ever imagine. And he made and lost it a few times as well. And that's the difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not. Because when you lose it, you go for it again. You know, if you're not successful, you lose it, you cry, you sit in the corner. You know, you just got to roll your sleeves up and get on with it. But this guy who had everything shot himself. So ask yourself a simple question. Am I rich? If you've got somebody who loves you and you can look at them and think, I love them as well, then you're rich. I do. I'm fortunate. You know, because even when I lost a lot and I literally didn't have a bean to my name when that factory, because trust me, when creditors want their money, they want their money and they come for it like there's no tomorrow. And you have to pay it. So that's what we did. You know, we went back to square one, literally. And I'm a wife, I've got 4 kids, and I got a pay rise when those kids had their own children. And now I've got grandchildren, so I've got a pay rise. So that makes me incredibly rich. And am I wealthy? Yeah, work my way back to it. And that's kind of the moral of this story. You know? Don't chase money. Chase what money can buy. Because that's what we want. You don't want the money. You want what it can buy. And the advice I give my kids when they're talking about their career paths and various things like that, because I've proved to them over the years that you can reinvent yourself and you can be anything you want. Because you can. If you've got the will and the desire. You know, so what I say to them is this. If you want to be a bin man, because you love being a bin man, be a bin man. But be the best one. And if you're the best bin man, you become best bin man supervisor. And you get a pay rise. And then be the best bin man supervisor. And then you become best bin man manager. Get a pay rise. And that's where the words that you hear at nearly the end of every video comes from. Do what you love, and the money will follow. So it was a somber rant this week. Not really a rant, it was just me going down a memory lane. Yeah. Anyway. Somber rant. But markets open on Monday and Scruffy will still make some money. I'll see you in the next one.